Hello, everyone. My name is Gregory, and this is The View from Out Here. Today, I want to talk about the political philosophies behind our two political parties. Republican ideals are not evil. Now, regular viewers may question my sanity for that statement, but I assure you, I have not lost my mind. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to do a fluff piece about the GOP. You'll see that soon enough. I'm a lifelong Democrat. I was born Catholic, so in my youth I was a Democrat because my parents, well, all of the adults in my various families were Democrats, so I barely knew anything else. As an adult, I've been able to evaluate the parties on their merit, and I remained a Democrat because the philosophy that drives the party resonates with my core values. But I don't hate Republicans because I'm a Democrat. I simply disagree with what they stand for. At its core, Republican political philosophy is not evil, but over the last several decades, it has been slowly and methodically hijacked by people who are. Republicans have had a long history of great leadership, beginning in the founding stages of our republic, including such luminaries as Abraham Lincoln, Theodore Roosevelt, William Howard Taft, Calvin Coolidge, Dwight Eisenhower. Now, each of those guys had remarkable administrations that have had lasting impacts that survive even today. My disagreement is with Republican core values. Republican philosophy is founded on the supremacy of the individual, the autonomy of the citizen, a strong military, free markets, survival of the fittest, and resistance to government interference in the lives of the people. These philosophies are not evil. Some of them even draw an inspiration from biblical principles. William Howard Taft, for example, was a Republican, but had a lasting impact on commerce for his opposition to the growth of monopolies. That could well be considered government interference in the marketplace, but Taft was able to see that allowing monopolies to flourish was bad for the majority of Americans, so he opposed them. We could use a guy like William Howard Taft right now, I'm telling you. However, monopolies are a natural progression of a free market and are a good argument in favor of market regulation. We're seeing a resurgence of that right now. Monopolies are unfair business practices because they artificially control prices and production, and it is that control that arbitrarily limits opportunity and choice. What I don't understand are the specific Republican presidents that the party holds up as their revered demigods, the men who exemplify what being a Republican really means, the best of the best. They revere Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump. Both of them, by the way, were actors before getting into politics. These are people who are skilled in their ability to depict illusions of reality, to give life to fiction, like comic book superheroes or something. Something has happened to the Republican Party over its history, and it's not a good thing. I sense that the turn for the worse began around the Reagan administration's union busting and gained momentum under the congressional leadership of Newt Gingrich and his contract with America. This change in the moral character of the Republican Party signaled an open door policy for the influence of Christian churches as voting blocs and Christian morality as a political platform. It also ushered in a new resistance to government regulation and the new Republican mantra that big government is the problem rather than the solution to our problems. Against that backdrop comes the Republican hot button issues of abortion, gay rights, death with dignity, prayer in the schools, none of which have anything to do with the Republican core values, but weigh heavy in any modern election campaign. These issues cause my head to spin about the Republican philosophy. Should the government step into the lives of its citizens or shouldn't it? Republicans want a government that is small enough to drown in a bathtub or fit in a citizen's bedroom window to dictate what two or more consenting adults should be allowed to do. They want a government that is small enough to fit into a doctor's exam room to stop women from making choices about what they do with their very bodies. Republicans want a government that is small enough to fit into a classroom window to make sure kids are being indoctrinated into a specific religion. It doesn't make much sense to me. If you stand for individual freedom, stand for individual freedom and stop parsing which freedoms you like and which ones you don't. Under this evolving incarnation, the Republican Party has devolved into a kind of fascist regime. What they're saying essentially is, you are free to do as I please. Democratic philosophy, in contrast, is rooted in common interests rather than the autonomy of the individual. Democratic philosophy resonates with me because of its big tent concept that reminds us that although we are individuals, and that individuality should be respected, we are also part of a bigger whole, and our successes or failure is interrelated. We are in this together whether we like it or not. Democratic philosophy contends that it is our responsibility as members of the larger group to see that the weakest among us are protected, because injury and injustice to one diminishes us all. A philosophy that is also rooted in biblical principles. The democratic philosophy respects that we are a democratic republic, meaning that we are governed by a bed of laws that restrict democracy's majority from overpowering dissent against it. We agree, by our Constitution, that our freedom is limited by the overriding cornerstone of equality and justice for the big guy and the little guy alike. That is why our hot-button issues are dramatically different than MAGA Republicans. Ours are things like equal opportunity under the law, healthcare, education, renewable sources of energy, justice for all, the economy, and protecting the rights of the individual to make important decisions on their own. In this election, we are seeing the worst excesses of what has become of the Republican Party over a period of decades. The architects, you have your Donald Trump, Dick Cheney, Ronald Reagan, Karl Rove, Frank Luntz, the Heritage Foundation, American Legislative Exchange Council, Newt Gingrich, Moscow Mitch, has spent the last 20 years desensitizing Americans to the moral implications of intentional deception. Lying outright has become standard operational procedure in MAGA Republican politics. So much so that they made up a phrase for their lying, a new phrase for their lying. They call it alternative facts. And the Christian right, the base of their political support, doesn't seem to have a problem with it. And to top it all off, Republicans are now serving up a convicted criminal mob boss, serial rapist, racist, insurrectionist, grifting traitor who is suffering from age-related dementia to complement his already advanced sociopathic narcissism as the primary representative of their core philosophy. They have selected a man who is the physical embodiment of the 7 deadly sins. I feel like I need to say it again at its core. Republican political philosophy is not evil, but over the last several decades, it has been slowly and methodically hijacked by people who truly are. I want to thank you for hanging with me so far, and if you're finding anything of value here, please take a moment to like and subscribe with the buttons below. And don't forget about my books, Basic Video Production, Everything You Need to Know to Make Video Like a Professional, and my childhood memoir, Searching for Saint Germain, the true story of a gay Catholic orphan. You'll find links to both in the description below. And if you have Kindle Plus, you can read them both for free. Meanwhile, my name is Gregory, and this has been The View from Out Here. Much love.
Summer. Kind of. Well, it's almost summer, isn't it?